Samadhanam Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatan Shranvanutibhis Sidasadanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, we are seeing this Vivekachudamani. We were reading the 296th shloka number 296 in this Ramakrishna edition. Ato Abhimanam Tyaja Mamsa Pinde. That shloka we were reading, probably in that book 297. So Shankaracharya has been analyzing what exactly is this I, the meaning of aham. So he started analyzing it, saying that this aham, what you call aham, is actually a drishyam. This is drishyam, this is jadam, sarvatmana drishyamidam rushaiva. So idam shariram kaunteya, you can recall. So that whatever can be distinguished from myself is something which is called idam. So one has to practice that, to distinguish this ego also, along with the body, this ego also can be distinguished from myself. So that is what the exercise which is going on by Shankaracharya. And so he has been saying, Ato Abhimanam Tyaja, this identification with this ego, this false ego, you give it up. Pindabhimaninyapi buddhi kalpite, in that ego sense, which is something which has been merely a concoction of the brain. Then Kalatraya Badhyam Akhanda Bodham. So your real nature is that of this, the Kalatraya Abadhyam means the existence which is not negated in all the three states, past, present and future, which is beyond time. Time itself is a sort of, something which has been visualized in the Srushti only. Time is something, Maya Kalpita Desha Kala Kalana, they say. Time itself is something which is a Kalpitam, which is something which has been falsely visualized. So, but your real self is something which is beyond time. It has been there. The consciousness is something which has been there before Srushti, and it is always there during Srushti, Sthiti, Laya. At all times it is there. So that is what he said. So we have to read the next shloka, that is 297. I will read the shloka. Tyaja bhimanam kulagotra nama rupashrameshu ardrashavashriteshu Lingasya dharmanapi kartrutadin styaktva bhava akhanda sukha swarupaha. So here he says, Tyaktva abhimanam kulagotra nama rupashrameshu ardrashavashriteshu. He uses one very, very strong word to refer to the body. Ardra shavam, he says. Ardra shavam means, ardra means wet, shava is dead body, corpse. So ardra, dead body is something which has become dried and all that. But then ardra shava is something which is said to be alive. Ardra shava means something which is a wet corpse, we can say like that. Wet corpse means something which is alive, but then it is as good as a shivam, because it is something which is, once the prana goes away, it is nothing. So on this, you just give up that abhimanam. Abhimanam is that notion of self. Abhimana is a sense of identification, that notion of self. Tyaja means give up. So now what we are talking is that ahankara nasha. That is the giving up or negation or rejection of the notion of I. So that is what is the exercise which is going on. So in fact here he says Tyaja abhimanam, and what? Kula gotra nama rupa ashrameshu. And all these things are ardra shavashriteshu. These are all ashrita. Ashrita means something which are dependent on. They are just hanging on to this body. You see, when a body comes into existence, a new body, suppose you have a son or a daughter, that body has come into existence. The moment that body has come into existence, you are attributing some kulam. So it belongs to this particular caste. You give a gotram, you give a name, you give some various other identities. So he is a Brahmana, he is a Kshatriya, etc., etc. All those identities, they are formed, they are dependent, they are hanging on to this body. So leave all that thing. You give up that, because that is not the real self. The real self is something different. So, Ardrashavashriteshu, all these qualities which are hanging on to this wet corpse, what are they? Kula, caste, gotra, that lineage of some Rushi, or some Gautama, Angi, Rasa, etc., etc. Nama, the name, Rupa, Ashrama. So I am like this, I am handsome, I am I am tall, I am short, etc., etc. Ashrama, I am a brahmachari, grihastha, etc., etc. All these things are qualities which are hanging on to this body. So here you see, Shankaracharya quite often, very often he is talking about giving up all these social identities. So that is, what are the qualities of a jnani then? So once he gives up all these things, he is somebody who is capable of loving everybody without any sort of agenda. You see, it is not some sort of missionary love. It is not a missionary love that you are going to convert him and all that. It is something, you see, why we should realize this is that there is a criticism on the Hindu, doctrine that these Hindus are selfish people. These Brahmins particularly are selfish people. They talk about Atma Jnana and all that. They are only bothered about their own Atma Jnana, their own realization and all that, and then they are not bothered about the society. So that is what they say, which is wrong, because our thing is, we are converting ourselves. We are not trying to convert others. And then we are telling everybody, you convert yourself. We are converting ourselves from being, fundamentalists. You are just getting liberated from all these shades of fundamentalism. You are getting just freed from all these. These are all shades of fundamentalism. I belong to this community, I belong to this religion, etc., etc. That is fundamentalism. You are getting freed from all these traces of fundamentalism. And then when you are free, you just have an open mind, you accept everybody, you respect everybody, you love everybody, which is not possible when you are having all these fixtures. When you are having all these fixtures like Kula, Gotra, Nama, religion, etc., etc., you can't love, without any reason. If there can be an agenda, and some sort of give and take. But an unconditional love is something which is not possible. So this is what we have to realize. When they say that you Indians, you are all bothered about yourself, Atma Jnana, etc. Atma Jnana is for an open-minded approach. It is a change, an internal change which you are bringing about in order to be totally free of all these limitations, and then accept everyone. So that is the result. And then we are telling everybody that this is the ultimate goal. The seeker, everybody should be a seeker. A human being, his objective in life should be to know the meaning of life. And if his objective is to know the meaning of life, he has to be a seeker. He should be on the path of this knowledge. And when he is on the path of this knowledge, he has to slowly cultivate the habits of the qualities of a jnani. Isn't it? Gita says, whatever are the qualities of a jnani, those qualities should be consciously cultivated by a seeker. So that is what Gita says. What is in Gita, 2nd Adhyaya or 3rd Adhyaya, he says, what is that famous line, Krutarthasya Lakshanani Yani. Then there is some line which says, whatever are the qualities of a Krutartha, a realized person, the seeker has to consciously cultivate. Tanyeva sadhanani. Beautiful. They are the sadhanani. They are the means for the seeker. So that is what he says. There is much a longer line also. So we should be aware that our approach is to convert ourselves. That is, purify ourselves. So once you become pure, you are dealing with the world in a much purer way. You are not having an agenda, you are not having any hate or anything, dislike or anything. So that is what we see. Then Rupa Ashrameshu Ardrashavashriteshu. Then what about this subtle body? He is talking about that subtle body also. Lingasya dharmanapi kartrutadin tyaktva. Kartrutadin styaktva. Adin plus tyaktva becomes karturadin styaktva. So lingasya dharman. Lingasya, that is lingadehasya, that is the sukshma sharira or the subtle body. What are the dharmas, what are the properties of that linga sharira? That is aham, I, that I notion is, it belongs to the linga sharira. It doesn't belong to the body alone. It belongs to the linga sharira. And this linga sharira takes this body also as its property, as its base. So, kartrutadim, I am the karta, I am the doer. So, that notion, tyaktva, bhava, akhanda sukhaswarupaha. Because your real nature, so long as you are a khanda, so long as you have this kula, gotra, nama, etc., you are a khanda. Khanda means a piece. You are a piece and you like some piece and you do not like some other piece. It is not like that. Piece is P-I-E-C-E, piece. So you are just a part. So you like another part, you like some other part, you don't like some other part, etc., etc. But when you are infinite, you are everything. So that means akhanda bodha swarupa, sukha swarupa, that is undivided bliss, that is your real nature. Then he continues to the same on ahankara. He is talking about, he is trying to denounce that ahankara. Santyanye pratibandha pumsah samsara hetavo drushtah tesham evam moolam prathama vikaro bhavatyahankarah. This is Aryavrutam. Santyanye pratibandha pumsah. Pumsaha, for a person means for a seeker. Anye pratibandhaha bhavanti, santi. Anye pratibandhaha. There are several pratibandhaha, obstacles which are there in the path of, enlightenment. And samsara hetavaha, pratibandhaha samsara hetavaha. All these obstacles are the reason for this samsara, for this fellow to transmigrate. All these things, they are all pratibandhaha. These are, so many are seen. But then for all of them, the moolam, the root is that aham. That is tesham, esham, your book says, this book says tesham evam. It doesn't matter, tesham evam moolam. Moolam, the origin for all these things is the prathama vikaraha. Prathama vikaro bhavati, ahankaraha. Ahankara is the prathama vikara. That is in that, the supreme consciousness, when we see that prakriti, that maya vachinna chaitanya, in that the first notion of I is formed, isn't it? That mahat, the first notion of I. Of course, Sankhyas, they say, prakriter mahan mahato ahankaraha, they say. From prakriti, they say there is something called mahat tattva and mahan mahato ahankara. From that mahat ahankara, but Vedanta doesn't make any distinction between mahat and ahankara. From the prakriti, that mahat tattvam, or that is first notion of I, that ego, that cosmic ego. And from that cosmic ego only, like all these vispulinga, etc., all these sparkles of, from a huge flame, that all these small sparklings, they come. So like that, all our jiva, ego is somewhat like that. That this we see in Mundakopanishad or Vispulinga, Prashnopanishad, Mundakopanishad, I think. We see that example of Vispulinga. So this Prathama Vikara means the first modification. The first modification in that Prakriti. The first Avyakta. Prakriti is Avyakta. It is also called Maya. Then from that Avyakta, the first Vyakta state is that first the cosmic ego. So that cosmic ego is the Prathama Vikara. And then from that cosmic ego also only all our egos have emanated. So that Prathama Vikaro Bhavati, Ahankaraha, the first modification of Prakriti, that is the moolam for all this samsara hetavaha. Because that is something which is, which develops that notion of limitedness, that notion of limitedness. From that huge ocean of consciousness, a wave, as though it comes out and then that wave thinks I am having a particular shape and all that, it develops the notion of I. So similarly, this Prathama Vikara is like that. Then yavat syat swasya sambandho ahankarena duratmana tavanna leshamatra api mukti varta vilakshana. Yavat syat swasya sambandha, for a person, contact or connection with what? Ahankarena. Duratmana ahankarena, with this bad thing called ahankara, with this very, very negative, deplorable thing called ahankara. Yavat syat, as long as this sambandha exists. Yavat, this sambandha syat. Yavat sambandha syat. So long as this sambandha is there with this ahankara, that means so long as that identification, that ego is there, so long as that ahankara is there. The ahankara doesn't mean pride and all that. Ahankara is the notion of I only. Then tavat means till then, na lesha matrapi mukti varta vilakshana. This mukti varta, there is absolutely no news of mukti. Mukti varta means, it means that you can't even think of it. Mukti varta, varta api nasti. When you say even the news is not there, you don't even have that idea. Varta api na drushyate means, na shruyate means, what does it mean? There is not even the thought of it. And what is that mukti? Vilakshana. Vilakshana means, earlier he said, ahankarena duratmana. So this vilakshana means something which is opposed to bondage, which is something which is mukti, it itself is opposed to bondage. It is total freedom from all these limitations, freedom, notions of limitation. So yeah, this swasya sambandha duratmana ahankarena yavat syat. So long as your sambandha is there with this bad thing, with this villain called ahankara, till that time, tavat lesha matrapi, even a little bit, lesha means a laghu lesha, even a little bit, mukti varta, even that varta, even the news of it, even the trace of it, you don't, there is absolutely no possibility of that liberation, which is something which is totally opposed to that ahankara. Then in the same way, there are some more images which are given, some more some figurative descriptions which are given about this ahankara. Now in the next shloka, he is comparing ahankara to the graha. Graha means the planet which eclipses the moon. This, what is that, Ketu graha? Ketu graha eclipses the moon, isn't it? So, ahankara grahan muktaha swarupam upapadyate chandravad vimalah purnaha sadananda swayam prabhaha. Ahankara grahan muktaha. So, a person who is freed from this graha. Graha also means capture. Graha, grubhanati, gruhnati, that dhatu is to grab, to hold. Ahankara graha, that which grabs. This ahankara is, it has grabbed you. So a person who is freed from this, grab of that ahankara, swarupam upapadyate, he attains his own, he attains or he realizes his own rupa. So once that ego goes, then what else? The wave realizes it is that ocean of consciousness. So the same thing happens to the seeker also. The seeker, once that ego is gone, then naturally he is one with the infinite consciousness. He is one with the infinite consciousness. That Sarvatma Bhava automatically comes. The same Atman which is there, seen everywhere in all the things. So then Chandravat Vimalah Purnaha. And then like the Chandra, Chandra is the moon. Like the moon which has become freed from the grip, from the eclipse of that Ketu. Chandravat Vimalaha. Vimala means Vigataha Malaha. Vigataha means that Mala, that dirt called Ahankara has gone. Dirt called Ahankara, dirt, along with Ahankara you have got Raga, Dvesha, etc., etc. All those things, they are gone. Purnaha. And then he has that Purnatvam, Purnavadah, Purnavidam says the same thing. That Purnatvam is you are one with that infinity. And then Sada Anandaha. Sada Anandaha means it also can refer to some moon. Our Swamiji says, Chandrasekhara Bharati, Sada Ananda can also refer to the moon, saying that on seeing this everybody is happy, everyone is happy. So like that, Sada Anandaha. Then Swayam Prabha. Swayam Prabha is, that is, so long as you are aham, you are only a reflection of that consciousness. So long as you are that aham, you are identifying with this body-mind complex, you are only a chidabhasa. And then that once that aham is gone, you are that Swayam Prabha. You are that reflection is gone. That reflection is gone. And then you have realized that you are nothing different, you are not different from that pure, consciousness or pure light. Till that realization is there, you are only a reflection on the Antahkarana. So Swayam Prabha. Swayam Prabha is the same thing called Swayam Prakasha. That word we come across several times. Prabha is Prakasha, light, illumination. Then the same, another thing he says, another figure he gives. Yova Pure Sohamiti Pratito. Yova Pura, your book says, here it says Pure. Pura means earlier. Pure means in this Puram, in this body. Of course, in the entire shloka, it's not making much difference. Yo va pure sohamiti pratito buddhya prakluptastamasati mudhaya. Buddhya, your book says avivikta. Buddhyati buddhya viviktas tamasati mudhaya. So that patham also is good. This is also okay. Buddhya prakluptaha. Prakluptaha means something which is integrated with, something which is bonded with. Prakluptaha, it is so identified with. I'll read the shloka first. Yo va pure sohamiti pratito buddhya prakluptastamasati mudhaya tasyaiva nisheshataya vinashe brahmatma bhava pratibandha shunyah. So this brahmatma bhava pratibandha shunyah bhavati. So brahmatma bhava means this realization that Atma is not different from Brahman becomes pratibandha shunyah, which is devoid of any type of obstacles, so that all the obstacles will disappear in this awareness of Brahman. When tasyaiva nisheshataya vinashe, when that ego is totally destroyed, nisheshataya means even a little bit should not remain. Shesham means something which is remaining. Nisheshataya, completely, total eradication of that ego. So then come to the first line. Yova, the yaha va means yaha is now referring to ahankara. Yaha ahankaraha pura or earlier or pure in the body, doesn't matter. Yaha ahankaraha pure sohamiti pratitaha. I am that means I am that body mind complex. Sohamiti pratitaha. That soham it acquires a different meaning when you get to realize. Soham, you instead of identifying with this body mind complex, you identify with the Supreme. So yova pure sohamiti pratitaha. Pratitaha means something which is felt, something which is known, something which is pratiti, you say. Yeah. Pratiti is knowledge. Pratitaha means something which is known. The ego which is known as this limited being, which was known as a limited being in this puram, in this body-mind complex. Pura is body-mind complex. In this puram, how did this happen? Buddhya prakluptas tamasati mudhaya. Klupta, you know the meaning klupta? Kluptam, something which is closed. Prakluptaha, buddhya prakluptaha. Pra is only an upasarga. So buddhya prakluptaha, which is so thickly associated with buddhi. Buddhya prakluptaha, thickly integrated, thickly associated with this buddhi. And why? Tamasati mudhaya. Because of atimudha. Yeah, atimudhaya tamasa. Because of this tamoguna, which is extremely which is of the nature of deluded thinking. Deluded thinking. Atimudhaya. Mudha means deluded, isn't it? Deluded thinking. So because of this deluded thinking, which is otherwise called tamas, the buddhi is so totally integrated with this. So this this is totally integrated with this, buddhi, integrated with this buddhi. So this ego, sohamiti pratiti, that knowledge of I, or rather this awareness of I, is so totally identified with this buddhi. Buddhya prakluptaha. It is identified, it is so thickly associated with this buddhi. And then tasya vinashe. When that identity is gone, once that identity is gone, then brahmatma bhavaha pratibandha shunyaha. So your book also has a different version. Buddhya viviktas tamasa. Buddhya aviviktaha. Avivikta means undifferentiated. Buddhya aviviktaha tamasa atiru modhaya. It goes on. Buddhya avivikta means viveka means differentiation. Avivikta means undifferentiated, or rather undistinguished, which is so mixed up in such an undistinguishable manner. So this notion of I is there with that buddhi. I am this. So that notion has to disappear. So this is something, of course, it is very easy to say, but then it is a question of practice. The problem is for the sadhaka, the seeker, to practice it. We can happily read out the shloka, happily tell the anvaya, happily tell the meaning. But the problem is, you have to apply to ourselves. We have to apply to ourselves and reduce the ego. So that is the problem. So then again, in the next shloka, he is giving another image. The image is that of a great treasure. There is a treasure. And in olden days, all types of stories were there. There is some treasure there, and the treasure is guarded by a huge snake, etc. Such stories, there used to be many such stories. In our folk stories, you find such stories. So that image he is giving. So this Brahmananda is compared to some such a treasure. And that treasure is guarded by a huge snake called ego. And that huge snake has got 3 heads. 3 heads are Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Guna. And then this huge snake, it has totally surrounded, encircled that say treasure, and just keeping it away from you. It is guarding it, keeping it away from you. That Brahmanandam is kept away from you by this ego, which has encircled, it has coiled itself around the snake has coiled itself around the treasure, and then it is there. So that you take a Vijnanakhya Asi, you take a sharp sword called Vijnana, and then that Vijnana is that by say Panchakosha Viveka, etc., by this process of Neti is that big weapon, isn't it? With that weapon called Neti, etc., then you cut that say that snake, and then have that Brahmananda, obtain that Brahmananda. So that is the sloka. Brahmananda nidhir mahabalavata hankara ghorahina. A wonderful Shardula. This is called Shardula Vrtam. Shardulam is like a fierce tiger. Shardula is a tiger. Brahmananda nidhir mahabalavata hankara ghorahina samveshtyatmani rakshyate gunamayais chandais tribhirmastakaihi vijnanakhya mahasina shrutimata vichhidya shirshatrayam nirmulya ahim imam nidhim sukhakaram dhiro anubhoktum kshamaha. A long sloka. So this Brahma, I told the meaning earlier, this treasure called Brahmanandam. Brahmananda nidhihi, then Mahabalavata Ahankara Ghorahina. So this Ahankara Ghora Ahi. Ahi means a snake. Ahi means a snake. Ahina, by the snake. Mahaghorahina, a great and fierce, a very, very fierce snake. Ahankara Ghorahina. This snake called Ahankara, which is a huge snake. Then not only that, Mahabalavata, Balavan, Balavata is Tutiya. Mahabalavata, by that great, very, very powerful, let us say, very powerful, very effective snake called Ahankara. Samveshtya Atmani. Atmani Samveshtya means Samveshtanam. Veshtanam means coiling around. For example, Shiro Veshtanam we say. In olden days, people used to take some long towel-like thing. Even now, Sardarjis, they take some sort of long towel and then Veshtanam. They coil it, coiling. So that sort of coiling is called Veshti. Shiro Veshtanam it was called. So Samveshtya, having curled up. Samveshtya is Lyapa Pratyaya. That is having curled up or coiled up around the treasure. Samveshtya Atmani. Atmani means in itself, it has coiled up around that, and then Rakshyate, that's Brahmananda Nidhihi, Rakshyate, passive voice, Rakshyate, it is being guarded, Rakshyate. Then, why, and how Gunamayehi, Chandaihi, Tribhirmastakaihi. This Chandaihi, Gunamayehi means 3 gunas. These 3 gunas, how are they? Fierce. Chanda means very, very fierce. Chandi, you know. Chandi means fierce. Chandaihi, Tribhirmastakaihi. These 3 heads are the Sattva, Rajas and Tamoguna. Gunamayehi, Tribhirmastakaihi. Then, what to do? Vijnanakhya Mahasina. Asi means sword. Asina is by that sword. What is this sword? Vijnanakhya. This sword called, or the sword which is named as or called as Vijnanam. Vijnana is that proper understanding. Jnanam and Vijnanam, that proper understanding. That is the Maha-Asi. Then Dyutimata. My book says Shrutimata. Doesn't make difference. Dyutimata. Dyuti means Kanti. That is, Vijnanam is Kanti. That is, Vijnanam is, say it is enlightenment, knowledge. So that is it. Dyutimata. Then Vichidya Shirshatrayam. The 3 heads, Vichidya, having cut off, which chedanam. Chedanam means to cut it asunder, just to cut it asunder. By cutting them off, then nirmulya ahim imam ahim nirmulya. That is by totally destroying, by removing this snake. Imam ahim nirmulya. This three-headed snake called ahankara. And in this ahankara there is sattva, rajas and tamoguna. Sattva guna also is ahankara, isn't it? Sattva guna also gives rise to the notion, oh, I am a dharmika person, I am doing a great job, I am working for the sake of dharma. This also is there. I am fighting for the sake of dharma. All religious fundamentalism also is that. It's a mixture of sattva and rajas only. Religious fundamentalism, a person who says, yes, I am promoting my religion, I am doing this for my religion. It is a religious fundamentalism. And sometimes it can be tamas also. So sattva, only outwardly it is sattva. But inside there is so much of rajoguna, there is so much of say, spirit of aggression. So that spirit of aggression and all those things are rajoguna and tamoguna only. So this sattva, rajas and tamoguna, all the three are to be cut off. That is what Gita also says. Sattva, rajas, tamoguna, all the three have to go. What is that? Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. And for a Jnani, all this entire Traigunyam, it has to disappear. So that is what. And then Veda also, what is this? Traigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vedas also mostly talk about all the from beginning portions of Vedas, they talk about this three gunas. They talk about karma, they talk about some, say, various other activities, which are needed, of course, for a disciplined social life. But then, for a jnani, all those things, they become subservient. All those become, they become secondary. They become secondary means for a jnani, Vedas become secondary. In fact, that is a symbol which we see. I was recently reading that symbolism of Dattatreya. If you have seen Dattatreya's picture, Dattatreya is a man with three heads. Of course, not these three heads, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Guna. That is Srushti, Sthiti, Laya, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. He is supposed to be Trimurtyatmaka, isn't it? Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. And then he is always surrounded by four dogs. There is a cow, Kamadhenu is also there. And there are four dogs which are just moving around him. And those four dogs, they symbolize the four Vedas. These four dogs, along with that Dattatreya, whenever you see the photograph of Dattatreya, you find four dogs just moving around him. So these dogs are the Vedas. So for a Jnani, the Vedas, they just follow like a dog. Means dog is not used in a bad sense there. It is not used in a pejorative sense. Dog means it is a faithful. In fact, in Veda, dog is not dismissed as it is not condemned as a useless animal. In Vedas, dogs, it is given a fairly respectable or rather respectful reference to the dogs, because they are loyal, say subservient, loyal. That quality is highlighted there. So Dattatreya, for a Jnani, the Vedas, they become subservient. Anyway, here it is a different thing. So here, Vijnanakhya Mahasina Vichedya Shirshatrayam Nirmulya Ahim Imam. This Ahim Imam Nirmulya, this particular snake having totally destroyed, then Nidhim Sukhakaram, this Nidhim Sukhakaram Bhoktum Kshamaha, Dhiraha. The Dhiraha. Dhira again is a word which is commonly used in Vedanta. Dhiraha. What is that? Kaschid Dhiraha Pratyagatmanam Aikshat. A person who controls his mind is a Dhira. Not a person who can battle with 10 people. A person who controls his mind is a Dhira. Dhiyam Rati, Grunhati iti Dhiraha. Same Chandrasekhara Bharati only gave that explanation earlier. Dhiraha Nidhim Sukham Anubhoktum Kshamaha. Kshamaha means he becomes fit, he becomes eligible, he becomes competent. Kshamaha. Kshamata. Kshamata means eligibility. Shamaha means eligible. He becomes eligible, he becomes fit to take possession of that particular nidhi, that particular treasure called Brahmanandam. It is only when you go beyond the three gunas, so that is it, Gunatraya. You can also associate that Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Then the next shloka says, Yavadva yat kinchid Vishadosha spurtirasti cheddehe Katham arogyaya bhavet tadvad hantapi yogino muktiyai. So the meaning, the overall meaning is, as long as even a little bit of that ego, the poison. Suppose there is a poison in the body. Even when there is a little bit of poison, it is leading to ill health. So that even that little bit of poison has to disappear. So this ahamta also is similar. Ahamta means this notion of I. Aham means I. Ahamta is that notion of I, that ego sense. That ego sense is also similar to that poison which is there, the trace of poison which is there in the body. So yavadva yatkinchit, yavat, that is as long as yatkinchidva, that va you can take it there, yatkinchidva, even a little, as long as even a little. So these two things, yavattu yatkinchit, as long as even a little visham, poison, vishadosham, that poison is there. Spurti, spurti means that sporanam. Spurti is sporanam, awareness. So that ahamta awareness, that even a little bit of awareness, that of ahamta, that notion of ego, even a little bit, even if it is there, asti chet dehe, that is dehe asti chet, if it is there in that body, then katham arogyaya bhavet, how can it be conducive for good health? How can it be conducive? Arogyaya. Katham visham arogyaya bhavet, that is it. How can that poison be conducive for good health? Similarly, tadvat, likewise, ahamtapi, ahamta also, yogino muktiyai na bhavet. We have to bring that earlier thing. Katham arogyaya bhavet. Katham arogyaya bhavet means it is a rhetorical question. How can it be conducive to health? Means it will not be conducive to health. So that na bhavet, you have to apply it here at the end. Aham tapi yoginaha muktiyai na bhavet. This ego sense, even a little bit of ego sense is there, it will not lead to this liberation. It will again develop in so many forms and then it will come up in so many forms. Then the same thing he is continuing. Ahamotyanta nivrutya tatkruta nana vikalpa samhrutya pratyak tattva vivekad idamahamasmiti vindate tattvam. Same sentence he is saying. Ahamaha. Ahamaha is of this aham. For this word aham, ahamaha is shashti vibhakti. Ahamaha, of this aham. Ahamaha atyanta nivritya. Ahamaha atyanta, ahamaha becomes ahamo. Ahamo atyanta nivritya. Ahamaha atyanta nivritya, by total eradication of this aham. Ahamaha atyanta nivritya. Then tatkruta nana vikalpa samhrutya. And what has this ahamta done earlier? It has developed so many vikalpas. Vikalpa means once I have that notion of I in this body-mind complex, then I immediately say, okay, I am a learned man, I am this, I am that. There are so many vikalpas. Vikalpa means possibilities, so many permutations and combinations. All these vikalpas. That is, I am this, I am social identity, there is a religious identity, there is some other identity, and then likes, dislikes, hundreds of things will follow. So all those things, tatkruta nana vikalpa samhrutya. Samhruti means samhara. Samhruti is samhara, destruction. By destroying that, all these nana vikalpas, all these identities have been destroyed. After that, then pratyak tattva vivekat. By realizing, viveka is proper viveka, discrimination of pratyak tattva. What exactly is my real nature? Who am I? That contemplation on who am I, discussion or investigation of who am I, pratyak tattva viveka. It is literally an investigation of who am I. Then what will you know? Idam aham asmi. Oh, this aham. This, your book says something else, isn't it? What is that? Pratyak tattva vivekat.
Vivekadaya ahamasmi.
Ayam ahamasmi. Okay. Ayam ahamasmi. Vivekat ayam ahamasmi. Vivekad idam ahamasmi. Iti vindate tattvam. That tattvam, oh, this tattvam is my real nature. This tattvam, this Brahma tattvam is something which is my real nature. Not this body-mind complex. Iti vindate. Vindate means he knows. Vindate idam ahamasmi. So this particular pratyak tattvam, whatever is that innermost core, what is my real core? That real core is that pure consciousness. So that is my real nature. That is by rejecting all these things, what remains is that inner core, isn't it? Munjadiva ishikam. So that also is there. From that stalk, there is a stalk. Then you peel out all the layers, inside that stalk, say that pure, that core remains. So that core is myself. So that is what. Then again another, say, Shardula Vrittam. Ahankare kartariyah miti matim muncha sahasa vikaratmanyatma pratipalajushi swasthiti mushi. Okay. Yad adhyasat prapta jani mruti jara dukha bahula pratichaschinmurtestava sukhatanos samsrutiriyam. Long shloka, slightly difficult anvaya. The problem is, Shankaracharya is also a great poet. So he has composed a poem in such a dense way that sometimes you have to slowly follow the anvaya. The pada vibhaga and anvaya you have to carefully do. So here what it says is, overall meaning is, ahankare kartari ahamiti matim muncha sahasa. So in this ahankara, which is having this notion of karta, bhokta, etc., this ahamiti matim muncha, you give up that notion that it is my real nature. In that ego, you just give up. Then, but this is actually vikaratma. Then vikaratma means something which is of the changing nature. And then atma pratiphala jushi. That is, it is again in Saptami Vibhakti, anyway I will explain. This is a mere reflection. Atma pratiphala. Pratiphalam means pratiphalanam, or reflection. It is a mere reflection. And then this is something swasthiti mushi, means something which is stealing your real nature, which is taking away your real nature, committing theft of your real nature. And then all this thing is only a result of adhyasa. It is only because of adhyasa this janma, mrityu, jara, dukkham, all these things are taking place in you who are otherwise that pratyak chetanam. In you all these things are taking place because of adhyasa. And then what is your real nature? Pratichaha, that innermost self, you are that innermost self. Chinmurti, that you are basically that your real nature is that of chit. Then sukhatanoho, you are the nature of bliss. Then this samsruti is what? This transmigration is happening only adhyasat prapta. So this anvaya, you have to take it back and forth. In the Sanskrit, the problem is words you have to take back and forth in order to connect this line. Now I will explain the shloka. Ahankare kartari. So this ahankara is the karta. That book says ahankartari. Same meaning. Ahankare kartari. This ahankara, which is actually the karta, which is having that notion of karta, etc. Ahamiti matim muncha. Muncha means give up. Give up what? Ahamiti mati. Oh, this ego, this particular notion, what is called I, this is my real self. Muncha sahasa. Sahasa means immediately, quickly, you have to give up. And then why? Because this ahankare kartari. In what vibhakti is it there? Saptami vibhakti. Ahankare kartari. Vikaratmani, all these things are visheshanas for the same ahankara. Vikaratmani, in this vikaratma, in this thing which is of the nature of, which is changing in nature, it is a vikara, not avikari. Then atma pratiphala jushi. Atma pratiphala. Pratiphala jushi means this is something which is of the nature of atma pratiphalanam, atma's reflection only. And then swasthiti mushi. Mushadhatu, what is the meaning of mushadhatu? Stealing. Moshaka shabda. Moshaka means that which steals. Moshaka is that which steals. So mushi, swasthiti mushi. That is, it is stealing your real nature. And your real nature is Chidananda Rasam, Chidananda Rupa. So your real nature is being stolen by this ahankara. So this ahankara is actually a vikaratma. And it is only a reflection of the self, and it is also stealing your real nature. So then, yad adhyasat prapta, that is yasmin adhyasat prapta. Just because of adhyasa, Jani, Mruti, Jara, Dukkha Bahula, Samsrutihi, Prapta. The Anvaya is Yad Adhyasat, in that thing, because of Adhyasa, Jani, Mruti, Jara, Dukkha Bahula. You know all these words. Jani is birth, Mruti death, Jara old age, Dukkha sorrow, Bahula, all these things. Samsrutihi, Iyam Samsrutihi. This samsara, this transmigration, which is having all these things, Prapta, Samsrutihi Prapta. Prapta is in this third line. Yad Adhyasat Prapta. Then otherwise who are you? Pratichas Chinmurte Hetava. Pratichaha is Shashti Vibhakti. Pratyak, Pratichaha. Pratichaha. Chinmurte. Chinmurti. You are actually Chinmurti. For you, Chinmurte Hetava. Sukhatanoho. Sukhatanoho is also Shashti Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Sukatanuhu, like Guroho. Sukatanuhu. Sukhatanoho. The overall Anvaya is like this. Pratichaha, Chinmurtehe, Tava, Sukhatanoho, Tava. Who your real nature is all this. Your real nature is that you are really that Pratyak Tattva. You are really that Chinmurti. You are really that the nature of bliss, Sukhatanu. For you, this samsruti, this samsara is attained only because of adhyasa. Only because of adhyasa, all this janma, mrityu, jara, all these things have come. So that is the reason why this ahankare kartare, you just give up the notion of I. The sloka, the long sloka with a klishta anvaya. Then next sloka also is slightly anvaya, we have to be careful. Sadaika rupasya chidatmano vibhoho Anandamurteranavadya kirtehe Naivanyatha kvapya vikarinaste Vinahamadhyasamamushya samsrutihi. Now he is talking about the same adhyasa in this line also. Adhyasam vina samsrutihi na anyatha. You see, adhyasam vina amushya means of this say chidatma, for this chidatma. Adhyasa vina samsrutihi anyatha naiva. It is only because of adhyasa, this samsruti, this transmigration is taking place. Naiva anyatha. Never otherwise. Naiva is never, anyatha is otherwise. It is never otherwise. It is only because of this adhyasa. And what is your real nature? He is saying sada ekarupasya, sada ekarupasya. Always this advaya. This is not dual. It is something which is undivided self, this only one undivided consciousness. And then Chidatmanaha, which is of the nature of consciousness. Again, all these things are Shashti Ekavachanam. Sadaika Rupasya, Chidatmanaha, Vibhoho. Vibhu means what? Vibhu means all pervading. Vividham Bhavati, isn't it? But not here Vividham Bhavati, but it is all pervading. That is, which is something which is of the nature of infinity. All these negative qualities like nanatvam, sadaika rupa, the opposite is nanatvam, isn't it? Limitedness. Then chidatma, but chidatma opposite is something which is jadatvam. Then vibhutvam, opposite is something which is limited nature. And then anandamurtehe, the opposite is dukkhatvam. All these dukkhatvam, jadatvam, all these things are only due to adhyasa. But your real nature is totally opposite. Anandamurtehe, Anavadya kirtehe. Anavadya kirti. Kirti means fame. Anavadya. Anavadya means something which is irreproachable. Avadya. Avadya means something which can be found fault with. Anavadya means something which is irreproachable. That seems to be a better translation. Anavadya. Some impeccable fame or irreproachable fame. What is this irreproachable fame? This irreproachable fame is that because all the Upanishads are praising that this Atma is Brahma. That is it. That irreproachable fame. Anavadya kirti. Avadyam means something which is to talk ill about something. Anavadya means something which is irreproachable. For you who are of that nature, impeccable fame, irreproachable fame. And what is that irreproachable fame? Because all the Upanishads, they are singing the praise of Atman, that Atma is the same as Brahma. That is the point. So, for you who are Sada Ekarupaha, for you who are Sada Chidatma, and then for you who are Sada Vibhu, Vibhuhu, and for you who are Sada Anandamurti, and for you who are Sada Anavadya Kirti. And there is one more point here in the third line, Avikarinaha. The third line says, Naivanyatha Kvapyavikarinaste. And you who are Avikari. Avikarinaha is again Shashti Ekavachanam for Avikari. And you who are Avikari, to such person, te to you, Vina ahamadhyasam vina, without this, except for this without this ahamadhyasa, this samsruti would not have happened. All this samsruti, this transmigration, it is just not possible. The Anvaya is like this, Amushya, for you who are like this, you are so virtuous, you are so glorious, you are so great, for you, adhyasam vina, samsrutihi, anyatha naiva. Adhyasam vina naiva. Except for this adhyasa, this samsruti is never possible, never otherwise. It is only due to this, but not otherwise, never otherwise. So that is where, it's basically about adhyasa he is talking. For you who are so great, this samsara is only due to other adhyasa, not due to any other reason. So that is it. We will continue in the next class. Harihi Om Tat Sat.